All right. So our guest tonight, we've actually had on before, and I have actually known Pekitta for, gosh, I don't know how long. It's been quite a while. She and I met in Colorado at another conference, and she's, those of you who didn't hear her story, it's a pretty cool one. So if you've not heard it all, we do have that show recorded. But Pekitta is a comedian. If if you've not heard it, you will know tonight that she is a comedian. She has a wonderful book that's called Thank God I Was Adopted, because DNA is no joke. And I am glad you guys are all here, because you can find out a little bit more about, getting her birth certificate, the foster homes, and her just amazing story. So I am going to stop talking so we can start listening to her wonderful story. So Pekitta, start chatting, lady.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. Yes, we have known each other for a very long time. I feel like I've grown. I can be your grandkids' grandma. That's how long I've been knowing you. See all the pictures on Facebook and stuff. Oh my gosh, yes, they are adorable. They keep growing though. They keep growing. I wanted to just always open with just a few announcements. I'm going to tell you I'm technology challenged right now. I'm actually holding my iPhone and it's in a plug, and I was doing some earlier things today. And so just bear with me. Should I hiccup and my face lean to the side or something, just bear with me with that. I will take all of your questions, whatever question you have to ask me about adoption, outside adoption, when do I think the sky is going to be bluer in Sacramento, whatever you think of, I will answer all your questions after I finish speaking. I'm going to talk about some things because we're going to be celebrating this month, Black History Month. It's really the end of Black History Month. So I'm going to talk some things about some Black people stuff, right? And I'm going to bring some humor to it. So it is okay if you're laughing. It's okay. It really is. However, there are some things that I might say that you cannot repeat. Right. So just be careful. Like, the comedian said, no, don't do that. It's some things you're not going to be able to repeat, but you can laugh and we keep moving. Okay. I for this particular presentation, I just wanted to get a good feel of who I'm talking to, who's in our audience. So I have a couple of polling questions. And Jennifer, you have those that we can put up. And if you don't mind, the people who are listening, if you don't mind answering those questions, it is anonymous. Your name is not going to be associated with it, but I just kind of wanted to get a good feel. All right. So polling question number 1, are you a member of the Triad? And of course, people may not know exactly Triad, but that's adoptee, a birth parent, first parent, adoptive parent, and you are on this call and you are not a member of the Triad. So we'll give you a few minutes to kind of answer that question. Jen, does it take you a while to put the results together, or it comes up really quickly? How does that work on your end? Are you on mute?
Muted.
Yeah, sorry, I'm muted. Sorry about that. 80% have voted. So I can tell you that currently 69% are adoptees, 21% are birth or first parents, and 3% are adoptive parents, and 7% are not a member of the Triad. And your question number 2, 31% said yes. 69% of us said no.
Okay. All right. So Isn't that kind of cool? I just love the way you could do that, Jennifer. Thank you so much for doing that. So that second question was not a trick question. It was not a trick question. I answered no. I don't know nothing about Black history. Okay. So I thought that I knew some things about Black history, and then I realized I really don't after 2020. You know, George Floyd thing happened, and then John Lewis died. So there was this bombard of information that came out about Black lives. And I was shaking my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, Pekitta, you know nothing. So I'm learning just like everybody else. The color of my skin is Black, and I am Black all day, but I am learning. And so I wanted to just kind of share with you some things that I do know about Black history and some Black lives and some things in the adoption world. So I first want to share my story for those of you who know me, for those of you who don't. I was abandoned when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I was left in a shot house, and that is a place where you go drink liquor illegally. For a shot house to be legal, you actually have to have a license to sell liquor. And so people could go to the shot house and pay for their liquor. That's illegal. That's where I was left. I was left again without a birth certificate. I didn't know when I was born, how old I was, where I was from, and I definitely did not know my biological family. The mother of the neighborhood who owned this shot house took me to school. And when I went to school, my nickname was Kitty Boo. Now, I was being called Kitty Boo for a very long time. But when I got into my first grade class, my first grade teacher asked me what was my name. And I said, my name is Pekitta. She goes to the chalkboard and she spelt my name Pekitta. And that is the way I've been spelling it all of my life. By the time I got to second grade, the lady who was keeping me could no longer take care of me. We went into a foster home. I was placed in a foster home. I stayed there for a year. And when it was time for me to get ready to go to third grade, my third grade school teacher was Miss Tynes. My last name is Tynes. And Mr. and Mrs. Tynes could not have children for about 13 years of marriage. And they adopted my sister and I. We were both abandoned at the same time. And about 14 months later, my brother comes out the womb. So Mr. and Mrs. Tynes went from having no children to 3 children overnight. Great, wonderful family that I grew up in, great people, uncles, cousins, just the works. Wonderful family. And when I turned 19, which was legal to begin searching for your biological family, I started searching. I joined support group just so I could hear what other people were going through in finding family. I also heard stories of reunions, and it kind of just gave me hope, even though I didn't have any information on myself. I knew nothing. Some people who joined the group, they had like maybe their birth name, or they had a birth date, or they had something that they could begin their search with, and I had nothing. But I always had some hope. One day I will find my biological family. So 35 years I searched for them. And I will tell you, at that conference where I met Pam, is when they were starting to talk about DNA testing. DNA testing had been in the works for a very long time, but it was very pricey, $5,000, $10,000 to take a DNA test. Like, I don't want to find nobody that bad, that much. And so at this particular conference, the price of DNA kits started to go down. And someone says, Pekitta, you really need to take a DNA test. So I took one with Family Tree, and my results came back, and I had third and fourth cousin matches. And a lot of my third and fourth cousins were Caucasian. And so I kind of thought at some point, I'm going to find my biological family, and one of them, mother or father, is going to be white, because there's a lot of white people on my ancestry DNA. It's just a lot of people. So about a year and a half later, I took a DNA test with Ancestry.com and 23andMe. I dropped the kits in the mail at the same time. My Ancestry.com results came back early. And when I say early, it's like 2.5, almost 3 weeks early than what they initially said it was. And so I was in complete shock when my results showed that I had a first cousin match. I had a second cousin match, and I had the jewel of all jewels, a third cousin match. This third cousin happened to be a retired chief of police in a metropolitan city. And when I reached out to them, I was, explaining to them that, I was abandoned when I was a kid. I don't even know when I was born. And I'm telling this person the same thing I told you earlier. And they were in complete shock that someone in their family would not know when they were born. They were like, really? You know nothing, right? And so because of their investigative skills, they started searching for my biological family, but it's hard when you have nothing. And people who have searched and been in reunion, when you have nothing, you kind of know, even when you have something, it still takes a while. So I find first my biological father, and he was deceased, but he had a twin sister and other siblings. And this twin sister said, honey, if you say you some kin to us, then you some kin to us. For her, it didn't matter. She didn't know at that time which one of her brothers was my father, but she knew that her brothers were Rolling Stones. So she knew one of them was my biological father. And so that happened, find biological father. And 33 days later, my chief of police cousin finds my biological mother. She is living, and she was excited to find that I was looking for her. But when I tell you, she carrying a lot of secrets to the grave, she's going to be carrying a lot of secrets to the grave. She doesn't like to share a lot of information. When I say a lot, it's almost like none. No information. So when I initially tell you I don't know when I was born, even after finding my biological mother, I still don't know when I was born, because she don't remember when I was born. I was like, really? Seriously, lady? Seriously? You almost wanted to, okay, I'm laughing. I almost wanted to go back and like start all over again and try to find somebody else that may, like find a nurse that was at the hospital that may have known when I was born. Because that's just one of the things that I always wanted to know. And to this day, I still do not know. There's some kind of hints that I may have been born this date and this year, but it's nothing firm, because my name was never placed on my birth certificate. So it's a little bit more challenging. But after I found my biological family, all of them, both sides, I wrote a book titled, Thank God I Was Adopted, because DNA is no joke. So sometimes, as an adopted person, you really want to know the truth. You really want to know your connection. And it brings so much closure to your life, right? Bless you, whoever may have sneezed. Did somebody sneeze? Yes. So it just brings a lot of closure. It helps in your identity of who you are. And it gives you hope for other people who are searching, especially when you know that life keeps going on and you can find people. And DNA is helping a lot of people connect with their biological family, whether they want to know them or not. Okay. As I tell my story and I begin to talk about some of those themes that I'd like to share with you pertaining to our Black history, it's again me, Pekitta, learning a lot about our Black history, and I begin to look at what is the differences between a Black adoption and a white person who's having a child. What is the difference between those two? And one of the things that I've been told and I've learned over the years in sitting in support groups, so white families, let's start there. From what I know, from what I heard, I'm not going to tell you no names though. I'm not going to tell you no names. The names are not important. Okay. So when a white girl gets pregnant and out of wedlock, she is sometimes told that she is going to be cut out of the family. She's going to be cut out of the wheel. We're going to act like we don't even know you exist. So if you don't want that to happen, you will need to go visit your aunt in Huckbuck, Iowa somewhere, put your child up for adoption, and then you come home and you will be accepted back into the family. Not all stories are like that, but I've heard several of them that go in that path when it comes to white child being adopted and the mother. Black families, Black girl gets pregnant. Their mom knows, grandmommy and them knows, auntie knows, the cousins know, and they make a decision. When you have the baby, because you're going to have it, we're going to keep it in the family, and your aunt is going to raise it, because your aunt can't have children, and they got a big house or they got a big family. She's got a husband, so she going to raise your child while you go back to school. So it's real simple. But what happens is the Black child ends up calling their mom, their cousin, their mom, or their auntie, their mom, and their biological mother, they end up calling their cousin or something other than the truth. And what happens is the Black family takes that information to the grave, and the Black child never knows the truth until somebody gets drunk and it slips and they go, oops, we wasn't supposed to tell you that. But it literally has to happen by accident. And that is, the difference between the Black girl getting pregnant and having a child out of wedlock and the white girl getting pregnant and having a child out of wedlock. So that's a little bit of history that I know about our adoption world. One of the things that I wanted to share with you for just to get a good understanding of how we got to where we are in society today, where Pekitta is a Black person, but she's learning a lot of Black history. I have white friends. They are trying to learn about the Black history. So here are just a few stereotypes that I have come up with just so we all can be on the same page. And this right here, feel free to laugh, but you can't repeat it. You heard it from me first. You can't repeat it. All right. Black stereotypes. All Black people look alike. Come on now. Right? No. So you got some dark-skinned Black people. You have some mocha almond mint colored people. You have a chocolate colored. You have I don't know. I'm not going to say pistachio, but you have a different color, and it just kind of goes all the way up and down the scales of Black, right? Sometimes when a person is very, very dark skinned, maybe in the summer, they get darker, they call them blue Black. Now that's not good. You can't repeat that. That's not good. But that really is the color of some Black people, right? So my biological mother is light skinned. All right. You see my two fingers? She's light skinned. I am going to call my biological mother light skinned. You see these three fingers up? That first light skin was okay. When you say light skin, that says you light white. And those are fighting words for a light-skinned, light skin, Black person, because they do not want to be called white. So I'm telling you, people, don't slip and call somebody light skin. I can do it because I'm playing. I already know. But my biological mother is light skin. And I think she could have passed if she wanted to. All right, I'm just saying, just some stereotypes. Not all Black people look alike. And don't you slip and call a Black person light skin. All right. Black people are always late. Some Black people are. They are. And then there are some Black people that are not late. All right. There is such a stereotype about Black people being late that it's just kind of known amongst everybody, right? So you hate to do it, but because it's such a known thing, they actually put a color to Black people being late, and they call it color people's time, right? So in secret, I think, but all Black people know, they tell white people, if you are dealing with a Black person and you want something to start at 8 o'clock, tell them you want it to start at 7, because they'll be there by 8. Okay, so it's kind of like a stereotype that at some point in our lives, we're going to change. I remember, because I know about the stereotype and I try not to live the stereotype. All right, I am for the first time headlining at a comedy club. And when I say headlining, there is no opener, there is no closer. I am the comedian for the night. And it was a Black club, okay? And they told me the show started at 8. And I show up at 7:45, right? And the promoter said, what are you doing here? I said, well, didn't you say the show started at 8? He said, he said the show starts at 9, but I tell all the male comedians to come at 8 so they'll be here by 9. And of course, during that time, I was, one of the few female comedians, and here I am. I'm an hour and 15 minutes early, so he was thrown off. But Black people actually know about colored people's time. All right. Our next stereotype: all tall Black men play basketball. No. But if the man is tall and he doesn't play basketball, you always get this expression in your face. Well, what do? You can't be doing nothing else. Because they always say Black people are very athletic. They're very athletic. So if you're not playing basketball with all this height, what could you be doing with your life? Please get your life together and pick up a basketball. But now, as time changes, I do believe that stereotype is getting better. Tall people don't have to play basketball and they can be smart in other areas. So all Black people can dance. Not so much, people, not so much. All Black people cannot dance. And I have the experience. I was in a play. It's a musical play. Singing was great, but I actually had to do a dance number, 3 of them with the group. And I was so not used to that. And the way they were teaching us the steps is like step 1, 2, 3, turn 1, 2, 3. I am like, people, I can't dance like that. Because Black people, for me, I have internal rhythm and it's not counted. So if I sit here and I do, you can't count all of that. People count that. You can't count that. So they took me out of 2 dance numbers because they was like, but you were supposed to dance. Like, you're supposed to know how to dance. I said, who gave you that thought? Who gave you that thought? I don't know how to dance with 1, 2, 3, turn 1, 2, step 1. All right, there you go. So let's see, another stereotype. All Black people can run. Not all Black people can run. They can't. Sorry. It sounds good. They always say, the Black man ran from the cops. White Black woman ran from the cops. I watched a movie last week and a Black woman was running and she fell. I was like, they need to take this movie off TV because what happened? Why did she fall? Who was trying to write and change the script that, everybody knows kind of, sort of in their head, all Black people can run. So that movie was trying to dispel some of the stereotypes, and that Black woman fell in that movie. You should have heard me at my house gasping like, oh my God, she fell? What happened? Oh my gosh, what shoes did she have on? So anyway, let's see. There is a stereotype that's out there called the angry Black woman. Oh my God, that is so not good. Oh, it's so not good. Oh. So I'm gonna give you a prime example of the angry Black woman that people was looking for. So you remember when Michelle Obama was in the White House? People did some stuff, and Black people who's watching this, they like, oh, Michelle gonna take her earrings off on this one. Oh, Michelle gonna take her shoes off on this one, because there's this thing that angry Black women, we go, at certain points, we getting ready to fight you. You talk about the children, it's angry Black woman time. We're gonna take some earrings, we're gonna take some shoes off. We might take, maybe a wig if we have it. It's gonna come off because certain things are just fighting words. And Black people on my end, we just kept thinking, oh, Michelle, she can really be the angry Black woman. Please, Michelle, don't do it. That one was bad, but don't do it, Michelle. And so 8 years, Michelle never was the angry Black woman that a lot of people was looking for her to be. So that really is the only example that I could come up with. But I, like maybe 17 times, thought, Michelle, this would be a good time. If you wanted to be angry Black woman, it'd be a good time to do it. So you can laugh. Don't y'all repeat that one. That's not a good one. Don't repeat that one. That's not good. Okay. So a lot of times for us, for Black people, we get into situations, and I'm only speaking for myself, and other people can probably think some of the same way, that we don't know how we're going to get out of this situation with another Black person. True story. I am in Boston. I got tickets to go to the NFL game. I knew some people. It was a good thing to do. One of my girlfriends, she wants to go visit her cousins. Her cousins lived in the projects. A lot of people have lived in the projects. I've lived in the projects. However, there are levels of projects. There's low projects, there's middle projects, there's high projects, okay? This particular project, when we got to her cousin's front door in the building, it didn't even have a door on the building. So that's kind of like low level projects. And I'm a little challenged myself with being in these projects because I really don't know what's going to happen in the projects. So I get to the house. The house is very nice and neat, but I did see a roach on the wall. So now I'm holding on to my purse. Because I now need to get to the NFL game, and I can't have roaches coming out my purse. There you go. And so my girlfriend, she ends up wanting to hang out with her cousin. I was like, look, I have to go. And I called a cab. And so the people, the dispatch team for the cab, they say, ma'am, you're leaving from this end and you want a cab to take you to the other end? So instead of them, it was you want to get a cab from the low rent district and you trying to go to the high rent district? I said, yes, I would like to do that. So I waited for an hour for this cab to come. And I called again. They was like, we can come and get you, but you're going to need to pay in advance. I said, I'm good to pay. We're going to need cash. I was like, what? Because where I was so low on the totem pole that the dispatch people may have been a little leery of me being able to pay to go to the high rent district. So anyway, that's just okay. Sometimes we are all challenged in positions that we find ourselves in, because here I am in the low rent district with my white people voice on, right? Asking to go to the other end. So they trying to figure out, how'd you get down there if you're trying to get up there? Okay. So anyway, there you go. Let's see. How do we talk about this particular subject? I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to try it. It is okay for you to laugh, but you cannot repeat it. Okay? I'm forewarning you. I'm forewarning you. Some Black people don't like other Black people. That's all I'm going to say. So while we be watching TV, while we're watching television, we see some Black people bust up buildings and throw stuff through glass and tear up stuff. We go, oh yeah. And we're looking at it and we can't do anything about it. When we talk to another Black person on the phone, first thing we say, you know them your peeps. Because if I walk out the door, people gonna think that's what I do. That is what I do. So you see another Black person, you say, you know those were your peeps right there. Those are your peeps, right? So peeps, P-E-E-P-S, means those were your people, Black people, who did whatever it was that they did. Okay. The other part of, let's understand a few things. So I do have a master's degree in business, and I like to stay, when I'm at work, professional. So I might have one of my girlfriends, she might call, what we gonna do, girl? What we doing? But because I'm at work, I answer the phone professionally. And I say, thank you for calling. How can I help you? And she'll say, can I speak to the Black Pekitta, please? Okay, there you go. So there's a difference, because you have to maintain your professionalism. But when you know who's on the other end, then you can go, yeah, girl. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get that part. You get that part. One of the other things is, if you notice when you go into buildings now, and stores, I'm sorry, retail stores, they'll ask you, how you doing? They practically screaming over the store when you walked in, hello, you've seen that? And then you're going, why are you screaming? How are you doing today? Welcome to Lowe's, or wherever you are, right? So I had to go to the store to get some batteries for my smoke detector. And I had a lot of conference calls that day, and the smoke detector started chirping. So I did not want to hear the chirping, or the people on my conference call to hear the chirping. And so I went to the store early in the morning. I know it must have been like 7:30 in the morning. And then the young guy behind the counter, if you go into Lowe's, you know the batteries are right there at the counter. And so guy behind the counter, he says, good morning. I said, good morning. He said, did you find everything okay? I did. And then he starts to ring up my batteries. He said, would you like a bag? I said, I do. And then he said, would you like a receipt? I said, I am Black all day. Look at here, sir. Look, don't have me handcuffed outside fooling around with, I have batteries, I don't have a bag, and I don't have a receipt. I don't have that kind of time today. I don't have that kind of time today. All I can see in my head with click, 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 handcuff, rewind the tape. Did she steal the batteries or what? I said, I don't have that kind of time. And so I whispered to him, because he's young and I'm seasoned at being Black. I said, look, don't ask us that. Just give us a bag and give us a receipt. Tried with some other people that come into the store, but please don't do that with the Black people that come into the store. All right. That was a good one. I like that one. So this is a true story. Happened this week. It is really, really challenging nowadays, now that Black people got masks on. And I'm telling you, it's just really challenging. I feel bad for some people sometimes, right? Because you not only do you have your hoodie on because you're jogging or you're walking, you're trying to keep, warm, and you have a mask on. I was like, wow. True story. My dad is 85 years old, and he went to Home Depot, and he gets out of his car and he sees this Black man coming up to his car. And my dad gets out, he closed the door, and the Black man said, with his hood on and a mask, says, can I get $5? And my dad was like, trying to do the no. He like, so the man says, you mean to tell me you can't help a brother out? My dad was like, not right now. So since my dad is older, 85, that's kind of older, they have this thing that if you pull your wallet out to give someone $5 or $1, they are more subject to taking your entire wallet, right? So my dad did not want to take that of going into his wallet and giving this man $5. And so the man is like, look at here, my brother. You mean to tell me you can't give me $5? I know you got it. My dad is now trying to get away from this person. And he like, come on, man. I'm your brother. You mean to tell me you wouldn't give your brother $5? And because my dad is down moving, the guy busts out laughing. And my dad turns around and it was his brother, his real brother. He had to take his mask off. He had to take his hood off. My dad did not recognize. I'm sorry, that to me is funny. That to me is funny. My dad did not recognize his brother because of the mask and the hood. But when he started laughing, that's when he said, oh, that boy. And my dad's the oldest. And he's like, oh, that boy is crazy. Wait till I go home and tell my wife, which is my mom, right? And my mom tells me. So I nearly fell on the floor. So I do hope. So I did a few things. And I hope that you learned something, that you got a good laugh. But I'm going to share with you something about the differences and how we can recognize when a person does something, whether that person, even before we know it, are they Black or are they white? So true story. You can Google it if you want to. Do you remember the DC sniper? The DC sniper, it was back in 2002. And this sniper, I mean, it was almost like they didn't wait till nighttime to shoot people. They did it in the daytime. And you was like, really? And so it was a very long period of time, a good like 20 days, and people were scared because of what they were doing. And what I think took them so long to find them was because a sniper, that's some white people stuff right there. That is some white people stuff right there. and then they found out it was some Black people, all Black people. I don't even think it was one that I know that said, oh man, that Black man just messed up statistics, right? Because I do believe it took the police a long time because they was truly looking for a white person. So that really kind of concludes those things that I do hope that I've shared for your interest and for your entertainment, some laughter. I trust that you have that slide ready, Jennifer. I would like at this time to introduce for the first time to some, but known to many people. And if you are looking, you should see the book about Tommy Davidson. Tommy Davidson he's a comedian. And he has done some other types of jobs in the early years of comedy, but that's what he does, comedy and movies and shows. And Tommy was also abandoned. Did not, and he was adopted by a white family. And so if you get a chance, read his book, because until you read someone's story, you kind of think you know them, but you really don't know them until you've spent some time in the words inside of their books. So Tommy Davidson, again, him and I started doing comedy together. And every time he's performing or if I'm performing, we take time to go see each other when our schedules allow. So I'm going to tell you, when I tell you sometimes I'm scared of other Black people, depends upon where I am. All right. And I was in Houston and Tommy Davidson was performing and he was all sold out. So I called a comedy club and I tell them, hey, would you let Tommy Davidson know this is Pekitta Tynes and I'm coming to see him. I'm not coming to see Tommy Davidson, the comedian. I'm coming to see him. I get to the comedy club. I don't really know where I'm going. And I get there, the show has already started. And when I get to the counter, I said, hi, I'm Pekitta Tynes. And the lady says, Tommy's been waiting for you. And she gestures for security to come get me. And they sit me down at a table and there is only one seat available. The security walks away and a girl that's sitting at the table, she said, I don't know why they sitting somebody here at Tommy Davidson's table. Now, people, I don't even know Houston like that. I said, that sounds a little gangster to me. Ooh, girl, do you have a knife in your purse? But I don't say this. This is all running through my head, right? It's all running through my head. Because I don't say nothing, she said, okay, it was like a click of your mouth. Like, I don't even know how, I don't even know how to do it, but you get the point. She's like, I was going to invite one of my friends to come and sit at this table with me. Now, people, I'm scared. I'm about ready to go get security and I'm going to wait for Tommy in the lobby because I don't know what's getting ready. I don't even know what's getting ready to go down right now. All because I sat in that one seat. The show is over. Place is packed. And people are leaving. And the people at the table, they leave. I never say nothing to them. I'm serious. I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. So I go and find the green room, and there are two security guys standing at the green room door. And I said, hi, I'm Pekitta Tynes. He's like, girl, Tommy Davidson's been waiting for you. I said, okay, all right. And so they open up the door, they knock on another door, and they say, hey, Tommy, Pekitta's here. And then I walk into the room, and the girl that was sitting at the table, she gasped. She like, okay. And I just winked. Okay. I don't know if it's a Black thing or if it's a white thing, but the wink means, hey, I see you, but I still ain't talking to you because I don't know what you're doing, girl. You're a little too young. I don't know how you playing. I'm a little too seasoned for whatever drama you got wanting to go on because I sat at that one seat at the table. So I just winked. And so Tommy comes out, we do the real big hug thing, and he whispers in my ear and said, Pekitta, I don't know nobody in here. It's like, dude, I got you. So for those people who know when you are adopted, you've been abandoned, you just need that one person that you know, somebody that's not pulling at you all the time, somebody that's not always looking for something. And Tommy brings that for me, I bring that for him. Okay. So trust that if you didn't know Tommy Davidson, you'll get to know Tommy Davis and know his story. You think my stuff interesting? Tommy has a very interesting story, and he's very open and candid about his life and his life struggles. So that concludes my time. I do trust that you enjoyed yourself, that you had a laugh, and let me remind you, some of the things that I said, you cannot repeat if you do not look like me. Thank you. Can you put up that next little PowerPoint? Thank you, Jennifer. What does that, what did I say? I didn't see it. Oh no. Question times. That's what it should say now. Question times. There you go. Isn't that cute? I just think that is so cute. Like, I love my last name. I can just do a lot of things with that last name. So I'm available. You have questions? Did you learn something new? Because seriously, I thought it was fun. It was a little hard for me to kind of process what could I say, about Black history, about things that, are currently happening in our world, a lot of history repeating itself. I do understand sometimes, people will say, Black people, y'all just need to get over it. It's like, it's still happening. Can't get over something that's still happening. So it's a little bit more challenging sometimes, but I've been in our Caucasian world for a long time. Then on January the 6th, when the thing happened at the Capitol building, I called one of my friends, and I said to her, I said, look, do you know anybody that was at the Capitol building? She's like, no, Pekitta. I said, was it any of your neighbors? She said, Pekitta, you need to stop playing. She said, my white friends don't even know the people that stormed the Capitol building. So it's just a little bit more challenging now, but we all will survive. We will all continue to be truthful to ourselves, and we will we'll just make it work. We'll just make it work. Can you see any questions that I might have, Jennifer? No questions, just a few comments.
A lot of comments.
Okay.
Dawn says a lot of what you said that she's heard. Barbara Robinson has been commenting quite a bit. I don't know if some of them want to kind of speak up, or if anybody else has any questions, you can raise your virtual hand, raise your hand on the screen, or unmute yourself.
Okay, so it's me,
Yes.
Barbara.
How you doing, Barbara?
Peter. I'm doing fine. Doing fine. Excuse the lighting. I'm still working with that.
Trust me, I know the challenges. Trust me, I know.
Exactly. So with that said, it's been interesting in the chat. I kind of wanted, maybe you can expound on this, because Dawn brought up a good question. I mean, it was not a question, it was more of a comment about her friend, and her friend being more comfortable around her. I hope I got Dawn right. I'm sorry if I misspoke who it was, but where she was more comfortable, her Guyanese friend was more comfortable around her as a white woman versus being around Black people, Black women in particular. And and so I was answering the part about comfort level, because there's different cultures, just like we get lumped into being that we're, because of our skin color, skin tone, that we're all the same. But it's just like in other cultures, there are different types of Black. And it often gets really misconstrued, especially when we're talking about the stereotypes that many of us on this know about and have heard about and have seen it over and over again play out. And so can you speak to the different types of cultural Black that you know, that you
in relationships, because that's what it sounds like. That's the mixed relationship. So Black man dating a white woman, and as opposed to the Black man dating a Black woman. Is that the direction that we're going in?
No, now that turns into a different conversation.
Is that different? Okay.
Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about, for example, when someone is of African descent, and they are African American by designation because they were born in the United States, as opposed to a culturally raised African of African descent coming from Africa, you know, and there are different countries in Africa. Nigerian, you know, different
Ghana, Ethiopia. All of those cultures are completely different. They are not even the same, and they're all in Africa.
Exactly. And then when they come over into the United States, they can come with their own type of culture, you know, which makes it different. From their experience gets different. Their responses to the American culture is different. Yet everyone that is with skin tone like mine and yours, gets lumped in together. So sometimes you're going to, like her friend, you're going to experience, for example, like someone where they don't have that same experience. They don't have 400 years of slavery behind them, you know, and so they're going to respond differently than someone who is from that type of, from that inherited, from that you know, so.
So based on all of these stereotypes, people already have certain things in their head, right? Based on, even if they're in Africa, right? They know some of those stereotypes that I've already talked about that we thought was just in America. But the people in other countries, they hear the exact same thing and believe, right, that all Black women gonna be angry or all. Right. So their culture in Africa is different than our culture here in the United States. Again, like to your point, they did not have to deal with all the years and years of slavery that we've had to deal with and talk about in Black History Month and maybe not see anything change for another 100 years. So they don't have to deal with that. So we as Blacks would present that information to the African to help them understand. The African man who is coming into the United States may feel comfortable with talking to a white woman who does not have those experiences because they both can relate to each other because he didn't have those types of experiences. Where if he's talking to us, we're gonna have to break down 1963. We're gonna have to break down 1959. You know, we're gonna have to break down more to him because he never had that experience.
And one thing I will say about what Barbara was saying was that my friend who is from Guyana, her family has white relatives and everything. And so I think that automatically says a lot that, you know, they don't see color as an object.
Not like that.
They, you know, unlike Black people here that were already born here in the United States, if that makes sense. And that, so she doesn't see like a race barrier between me and her, and I don't see a color or race barrier from me to her and their family and everything. And so that's what I was trying to get across, is that it's more genuine, it's more mutual. It's just like, you know, we're sisters, you know?
Yep.
And
we have to get to that point in the US. We have to get to that point. And when we get there, it will be a better place for everybody to live.
And see, and another thing is with that is that there are a lot of Black people that are born in the United States that would see both myself and her, because we room together and we're always together and stuff like that. Then the so-called Black people would be saying, how can you hang around with a white woman, you know, and be considered a sister? And it's like, she always kind of like defends me and says, look, I love this person. We've known each other for 11, 12 years old, and color is not no object and everything. And so that's what we always try to convey, you know, because it's like, you know, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not, you know, I love everybody and she loves everybody.
I know. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's taking a while, though. It's taking a while.
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. I'm
Thanks,
glad you didn't ask me about relationships, though.
Yeah,
that's like a whole other session. That's a whole.
Yep, all different.
Yep, it's all different. It really is. Yep. Any other comments? Something we need to address?
Yep, there's somebody. Who else has got their hand up? Jennifer, did you see? Somebody else had a comment on here too. Was
it Tina?
Teresa?
No, Tina had something too. Yeah.
Well, this is Theresa's. So
you can go ahead.
I had a question about it's a two-part question. So do you think that when Black women are speaking passionately about something, they automatically, by other cultures, fall into the angry Black woman category? And how do they express that without your season? So how do you express that without them thinking you're an angry Black woman? Because that's something I run into. Like, I speak passionately because I have to advocate for my foster children, or I have to call people on not doing their job sufficiently. And so when you do that and you speak well and you type well, then you still have people say, oh, I know you speak passionately or compassionately about certain things, and you have to watch your voice. And I'm like, I have deep tones in my voice. I'm not yelling. I push my words out, you know, but I'm often considered, I think, maybe the angry Black woman, but I'm not near taking my earrings off ready to fight you. I'm just confronting the questions.
You gotta get it mixed
that
up.
kind of sounds like you're saying something totally different. So how do you stop? How do you not be categorized as that?
Yeah. So this is what I do, and it has worked so many times for me. Right? Because like you said, your tone begins to get different because you're now passionate, and the person on the other end is not understanding what you need, or they're not getting it quick enough, or they don't want to do it. And because we are very passionate, and no is not even a word in the vocabulary, you know, saying it or hearing it. So I find myself pausing, because I've already know I've gotten very passionate. I said, you know what? How can I help you, help me, help us? And that usually shuts them down, right? Because you now are setting yourself in the position to now listen, because you've already done all the passion, and they still, you know, on their end wanting to say no, not trying to help. And that's where we become very passionate. Remember, because we don't
because we have to push against. It's not even like a very definite no. It's kind of like you can feel the resistance, so you're just like, And I have had to pause recently. Yes.
And they don't really want to help, and they want you to go away. They really want you to go away. So I always keep a log. If you know, really, if I get into a position, I just keep a log of every time that I call. If I have to leave a voicemail message, who I talk to. But when I get a person on the phone, oh my goodness, my favorite thing to say is, I'm sorry, how can I help you? Help me, help us. And they usually go, oh, okay then, man. Well, okay, so because it's like, look, all we're trying to do is get some help. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And
explain it to you thoroughly. Then it's like, oh, you're talking too much, or oh, I gotta go, or like you said, they just want to get rid of you.
They just want to get rid of you, and they hoping that you'll go and never come back. Please go and never come back. But that saying will work for everybody. It works for everybody. But for us, being very passionate and hearing tones in our voice, because we, how we can do sometimes without taking our earring off. You're like, look, I ain't even ready to fight you. I ain't took my earring off, but I really need to.
It's not even that serious. Yeah,
it's not that serious. But don't be playing with me on this phone.
I think the same thing could be said when like going along with what she was saying, that everybody gets passionate in the heat of the moment. I think that it takes a lot within yourself. It's that so-called willpower within yourself to be self-correct yourself. And then the second thing I could say is that, let's just say, whether I'm in a heated conversation towards a Black person or in a joking manner, it could be said as that, if a Black person tells another Black person, you're the N-word, but if I was jokingly say it, that, oh, the N, that's not the same. No matter if I'm joking, no matter if I'm serious. And so it's like, you have to self-correct you. I don't ever use that word, never used that word in my whole entire life. But, even in a heated passion of mad or jokingly or whatever like that, there's no way I could say the N-word in a jokingly or even in a negative context, because everything will blow up, and then it becomes the whole racist issue and stuff.
Absolutely. And from my end, I personally do not like it when Black people use the N-word, because there were too many people that fought and died.
Yep.
So we would not be called the N-word. And I understand and hear what other Black people who do use the word, they say it's a passion word. Yes. We use it as a passion word, and we know that word white people will not use on us ever again. So it's almost like putting up a barrier. White people, you do not use that word ever again in life, but we're going to use it because it's a term of endearment, and we know you can't use it, na boo boo. That's kind of what that is. But I look at that word as a lot of people fought and died. They didn't just fight and take the earring off. They died. So we would not be called that name. Right. So I'm thinking, let's, retire the name, put it on a jersey, retire it, and don't use it anymore. But that's just, me on my end. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
So.
Well, Tina had a question. She'd said, do you get your resilience from being a Black woman or being an adoptee, or both?
Both. I think it started early on just because I was adopted, and being that overachiever kind of person and continuing to push, because trust me, I'm older than I look, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. And so I was around when there was some prejudice going on, but I just I don't think I overlooked it. I just didn't want it to bother me because I got other things to do. And that is how I am now. I don't watch a lot of I watch news, but I don't watch a lot of the negative news. Like, I am all caught up on the Andy Griffith show from season 1 all the way to 3000 or something, is because I take my head out of that and I go to Barney Fife. I go cook a pie with Aunt B. But a lot of it, we can't let our mind and brain consume too much of the negative that's happening now. But it is bringing light and a lot of attention. But yes, that's where my resilience comes from, just, always having goals and setting goals and trying to accomplish them. I don't know about you, but I was on a call a couple of days ago, and one of their polling questions was, do you have a junk drawer? And I had to ask, I was like, no, thanks to COVID, I cleaned out all my junk drawers. I don't even have one anymore. And so I try to find that positive out of, that negative that is, that is plaguing us right now from all angles and directions. So COVID, it's not good. COVID is not good. People are dying from COVID, right? And I'm older than I look, but ain't old enough to get the vaccine yet. So I'm still kind of masking up and hope my daddy recognizes me. But it's allowing me to do those things that I don't normally do in my house, So normally I'm traveling, I'm going somewhere, I'm talking, and now I've been at home. I'm like, oh, this is not bad. This is not bad.
So, Pekitta,
Vanessa.
Yes.
Vanessa's got a question.
Hi, cousin.
Hi.
How are you?
Your cousin from Maryland. I have enjoyed you.
Oh my God. So good to see you, girl.
Yeah. So I just wanted everyone to know that this is my cousin, but I love the book. And and I really didn't know the story because I think I'm much older. So I remember her as a little girl. But I didn't know her story because she just became my little cousin. But very proud of you and love the book.
Oh, glad. Oh, I'm so good. Glad to hear that.
I had to
when I was adopted,
let you know your cousin was here.
Thank you, girl. So one of the things about my family, I told you, I grew up in a great family. Not all adoptees can say that, right? I can say that. And one of the things about my adopted family, once I was adopted into the family and I got my birth certificate, I got my name, my parents' name, nobody talked about, you adopted, this isn't your real family, all of the stuff that other people kind of go through that I've heard that never happened in our family. It just didn't. It was like, you are our family, you were accepted. And that's it. That's it. The old cousins, the young cousins, little Joy, all that, they was like, you our cousin. That's it. Later on in life, my mom said one of the cousins kind of put two and two together and say, well, she's our cousin, but she's adopted. Can I date her? Because she's cute, So, oh no, she's your cousin. So back in the day, they did used to have, them kissing cousins, but that's now against the law, So anyway, I thought that was cute. I was like, yeah, she's cute. I'm gonna date her. She's your cousin. So, but thank you so much. Thank you so much, cuz I appreciate that. Appreciate you joining too.
Mm-hmm. We put the link to your book in the chat.
Okay, nice. Yeah, well, it's an ebook on Amazon.com. But if you send me an email, I can, autograph a book for you and send it out. But I use the books for speaking engagements, and I, take them with me, autograph them after I speak. But COVID, how do we do Zoom autographs? I don't even know. Somebody will figure that out later. Somebody's going to figure that out. Some Zoom autographs. Yeah.
Have everybody buy the book, then send one page in the mail, then stick it in there.
Stick it in, and I don't know. I probably gonna have to digitally sign something, and it'll be, I don't know, mirrored on the book. Somebody's gonna figure it out, though. Somebody's gonna figure it out. Yeah.
Well,
are we winding down?
I think
I haven't been able to see the chats.
Yeah, I know that's hard when you're on. I don't think you can do that.
You
want any questions?
Any questions, any comments you want me to hear out loud? Because I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'm not scared because I'm on Zoom. So you can say, we can talk. It's all good. It's all good.
Hey, Pekitta, this is Jennifer.
Yeah.
I have a question, something you said, and
yes.
I have a former
Wait, Jennifer, can you repeat it? You know you're not the same nationality as me. Are you able to repeat that?
I have a former coworker. We're still very, very good friends. She is biracial, and I knew her first at work. And like you said, she has this very white professional appearance. She goes actually even by a different name at work. When we became very good friends and I started hanging out at her house, I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's your name? What are you going by? You know, and she's a totally different person. She eats totally different food. I mean, everything about her is like completely different. And I'm just like, isn't that so confusing? You're like living these two separate lives. So why can't you just be your authentic self everywhere you will go?
Yeah, it scares people. We try. Most people can. As time goes on, I think they'll become a little bit more comfortable in their skin. But because she is biracial, she's got a white side, she's got a black side, right? Sometimes with Black people, and no fault of our own, we have some bad names. You know, Champagne could be your first name, and Champagne don't really work in an environment as an engineer. They're like, really, Aquaniqua say, be like, oh gosh, what is your name again? So it becomes a little bit more challenging. And I say this and I speak from my own experience. I had a job as a manager for, an insurance association. And they hired me to bring people back into the association. And I had to call people whose membership had expired. And I said, hi, I'm Pekitta Tynes. They said, what is your name? I said, oh, this is Pekitta. It's Pekitta. It's similar to like Chiquita Bananas, but with the P, right? So here I am, haven't even talked to the person that I called, and I'm having to give scenarios of my name. I'm having to spell it. After my 5th phone call, I went to the front desk. I said to the person, when you guys put my name on the letterhead, put Pekitta in quotes, Pam Tynes, right? And that 6th phone call, I said, hi, this is Pam Tynes calling, right? So they got Pam, and all I had to do is spell Tynes, right? So it's for that interracial person, their identity is very challenged. And I hear that from a lot of people. It's very challenged. I got to be one way at work, and I got to be another way at work. So, or when I get home, one way at work and another way when I get home, because that's my comfortable environment. This is the environment that's going to be paying my mortgage. The other one pays my mortgage. And I need this job. So I'm going to just play along with all these Caucasian folks.
Blue color. Go.
Is this somebody that's on our call?
Yeah, it just interrupted for some reason.
Okay.
Pekitta.
Yes.
It's Jamie Scott here. And it's so
hey,
Jamie. See me. But I miss you so much.
I know. When we get to move around the world, I'm going to come hang out with you for a minute.
Oh, I'm so glad. I can't wait. I've got a guest room.
I know, right?
I got to see Pekitta a number of times at the AAC.
Yeah.
And so I'm not asking you to get up and show us, but I want to know, can you still kick?
I sure can.
Oh yeah, the kick. I forgot about the kick.
I know
about that.
I sure can, but that's going to take a real challenge with my phone in the outlet.
No, I take your word for it.
You take it. Okay, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you for
At my
being
age
here.
and stage, I actually can still kick. I every once in a while, I just kick, at home just to make sure I can still do it.
I'm so
I think
glad.
I'm breathing a little bit harder now than I was before, but I can still do the kick.
I forgot about the kick. I totally forgot about the kick. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish we were all in the same room so I could get a Pekitta hug.
I get it, but I know it. Those are things that we actually miss.
Yes.
Just being able to talk to somebody, give them a hug, you know what I mean? Whisper in the ear and then pull away, something. But we have now, I think, very levels of appreciation for the small things. At least that's what's happening on my end, the real small things. Yep.
Jamie, were you in Colorado?
Yes, she was my host.
Oh,
I was
okay, good.
speaking.
So that's when
she was assigned as my host.
Okay,
and
so that's when the kick happened, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that was so good. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Someone was asking a question and kind of popped up. It was like, what does the host mean or something? I don't know. But anyway, since I was a speaker and she wanted to make sure that I was comfortable, right? Or make sure that I popped in on a couple of sessions, and so she was kind of, keeping track of my schedule and stuff. Right. So yes, Jamie, I won't forget you, Jamie. Yeah. I sure won't. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember that. That was so good.
That was real. Yeah. It was different. It's cool. So
it was a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think we have come to a close. I think we're getting close, unless anyone's got any last questions.
Pam, I was thinking that if Barbara's still on, if she wants to talk quick about what she's doing next week, and then if David wants to give a plug for his support group, and then we've got a poll question or one last poll question.
Okay, all right. You want to, Barbara, are you still on?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to talk about our next time with This Is That follow-up?
Yes, well, next week there will be a follow-up This Is Us discussion, and it will be me and a mystery person. Okay, it will be me and all the ones who can join me to have a lively discussion about This Is Us. And it's if anyone has seen the last episode, that will be really we have to really break that down. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
And side note, I just put a little YouTube while you were talking about kicking. I couldn't help but think of Saturday Night Live with Sue O'Malley. I'm 50 years old and I can kick. So I had to just put that in there and click on it and enjoy it.
Thank you. That's cute.
All right. David, you want to do your plug for our Tuesday night?
Yes, thank you very much, Pam. Hi, I'm David Bull. I'm fortunate enough to co-host with the support of the National Association of Adoptees and Parents an Adoptee Paths to Recovery meeting, and those typically occur every other Tuesday evening at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific time, and the next meeting is March 9th. And ultimately, Adoptee Paths to Recovery meetings are non-denominational, and they're based on the philosophy that adoptees experiencing any type of addiction, whether that be substance related or behavioral, all have much in common, and they can benefit from sharing together. And we try to offer a safe place for people to share their